Thinking about eXp commercial, but not sure if it's the right move? My brother David is an experienced commercial agent, and today he's walking me through 6 reasons why he chose to align with eXp commercial. He's sharing the practical, business-minded reasons that actually matter, not fluff. If you're exploring brokerages or if you're just curious about how eXp commercial works from the inside, you'll get a super helpful perspective here. Let's get into it.
If you've been in commercial real estate for more than a few years, say 3, 5, 10, or more, you get to the point where you start asking better questions. Not, can I get transactions done, but is this brokerage platform still the correct platform for me? At least that's where I found myself. I've been in commercial real estate for over 20 years, and I'd worked for different brokerages in different states, and all those brokerages served a purpose. They were positive experiences. However, that doesn't mean that they were the correct fit for me looking forward. Eventually, I realized that I wanted something different, and I made the move to eXp Commercial. I'm going to walk you through the 6 main factors that led to my decision. Reason number 1, commissions and splits. So let's start with the obvious, because we are in the brokerage business after all. At eXp Commercial, every agent starts with an 80-20 split. That's 80% to the agent, 20% to eXp Commercial. It doesn't matter if you're a brand new agent in your first year or if you've been in the business for your entire career. That's the split that everybody starts out with. But here's the best part. After you've paid $20,000 in a year at eXp Commercial, you're capped. That's it. That means you don't pay another dollar of commission for that year. So let's break down the quick math. So let's say you're an agent that is currently doing $100,000 in GCI, or gross commission income. In that example, you would have paid $20,000 to eXp Commercial and you would have kept $80,000 of your commission. That's great. Let's fast forward. Maybe in the next year, you've done $200,000 in gross commission income. You've still only paid $20,000 to eXp Commercial and you've kept $180,000 of your commission. Fantastic. And the splits only get better. If you're doing $300,000 in GCI, you've still only paid that same $20,000 in a year to eXp Commercial, and that's fantastic. Now, quick disclaimer, you still have your monthly technology fees and your transaction fee that we'll get into in a minute, but it's relatively small compared to giving up a big percentage of your commission every single time, every single year. So that's the point. A great split, you cap after the first $20,000 of commission paid to the company in a year. Let's get to the second reason, controlling your brand. At eXp Commercial, I no longer feel that I work for a broker per se. I get to run my own business, within compliance of course, but that means I get to control the image, the branding, the strategy, the timing. Let's unpack that and see what that means on the day-to-day basis. It allows me to do things such as hosting events with my name on it, where I can be the one that's coordinating the event. It also allows me the ability to collaborate with other brokerages. I did an event last year where I was able to bring on different brokers from different industries in a panel setting and bring on sponsors, and it was a fantastic outcome for the entire industry. It also allows me to control the pace and timing of my marketing. So for example, if a transaction gets completed, I can use tools like Canva Pro and put a press release out the same day. I can put out a marketing piece on social platforms that day, the next day. It's my brand, it's my pace, obviously within the brand compliance and obviously within state compliance rules. But with that said, I get to control the pace and the narrative, and that's fantastic. Now let's get to the third reason, technology. Admittedly, this one surprised me a bit. After being in the industry for over 2 decades, admittedly, I was probably a little bit stagnant. I didn't really feel like I was learning anything new in terms of new technologies and ways where that can improve my business. When I switched over to eXp Commercial, that all changed. Now, I want to be clear on this. The technology doesn't magically work for you. You still have to put in the time. You have to learn the technology that's available to you. And that's a big thing that I'd really like to emphasize. However, after transitioning to eXp Commercial, you have all the support that you need to learn those new tools. And when you actually start to implement those new tools, it's fascinating how much time you can save and how much more effective you can be at business. So for example, even though I had already had access to CoStar, I am now able to use CoStar much more efficiently and much more effectively because of the on-demand trainings that I'm able to receive. Additionally, eXp Commercial has wonderful tools on the marketing side that I mentioned, like Canva Pro, so that I can put out press releases, print business cards, social platforms. There's templates available right there for me that I can brand for myself using the eXp Commercial guidelines. Eventually, I started getting more and more comfortable with social platforms. I'd always been on LinkedIn, but I hadn't really used LinkedIn to the best of its ability. From there, I got a bit more comfortable with Facebook and Instagram, and now, much to my surprise, video. With a big thank you and some encouragement from my little sister Sarah at eXp Realty, I embrace video, and that has been a game changer for visibility and credibility. But here's the thing with technology. I didn't try to build everything all at once. I started small, and then I would build on that momentum, and that compounding effect has been very big. Reason number 4, a real exit strategy. This one was a big one for me, and I really don't think it gets talked about enough in our industry, is what is the exit strategy? What is the plan? In typical brokerage, if you're not transacting, you're not earning. And it's great on those seasons of life and in business when your transactions are going really well. But what about when the transactions are not going so well? Or what about down the road when possibly you want to retire or look at some other endeavors in life? There's no real exit strategy, but eXp has changed that. At eXp Commercial, that changed. I can now bring on other agents into the company and not be their broker myself. It's what eXp calls sponsoring an agent. And what that enables me to do is to bring on other agents, not just here in South Carolina where I live, but in any market whatsoever. I used to transact and continue to transact in Virginia. I can bring agents on in Virginia, but I'm not capped there. Anywhere nationally, I'm able to bring on agents, and that kind of scalability is big. I'm not the broker, therefore I don't have the liability, but I'm able to participate and be incentivized by the production of those agents, and that's incredible. Reason number 5, rev share. As just mentioned, eXp Commercial incentivizes all of their agents to bring on new talent and new agents, and they compensate us for that. So what does this mean on a practical level? For every agent that I bring on who is successful in transactions, I get to participate in a certain percentage of their success. And that just doesn't start with the agents I bring on. That can go down to 7 potential tiers if you're meeting certain criteria. Once again, the leverage capability in that is incredible. I think the biggest difference here is that it all comes down to alignment. For the first time in my career, I'm not necessarily competing with the agents that I bring into my organization. In fact, it's quite the opposite. Anybody that I bring into my organization as a sponsor, I am highly motivated to see that agent succeed. And not just that agent, but any agent that agent decides to bring on. That's incredibly different from the other models out there that I've been a part of, and that's a big difference. Reason number 6, equity and ownership. Finally, there's an opportunity to participate in owning a part of the company. At eXp Commercial, as part of a publicly traded company, they allow you to use part of your compensation to purchase the publicly traded stock at a reduced price. It's your option. It's something you get to choose to do, but what an incredible feature for those of us that want to participate in a stake of the ownership. Additionally, at eXp Commercial, you are awarded company stock when the agents that you bring on close their first transaction. It's a great incentive, but probably the biggest thing is if you hit icon status within eXp, the company actually awards you stock for the entire amount of the commission cap that you paid in. So if you remember, you've paid in $20,000 for the year, you're at the highest level of production for that year, the company will actually issue you $20,000 worth of eXp stock for that year that you reach those production requirements. That means you're not just earning income, you're truly building equity in the company. So when I take a step back and I look at the full picture, what eXp Commercial is able to provide me as an agent is truly incredible. I have better economics, brand control, top technology, an exit strategy, revenue share, and true equity. In closing, I realize that eXp Commercial may not be a fit for everybody. However, for me, it was exactly the platform that I was looking for. If you're interested in speaking with me directly, please click on the link below and schedule a time to get on my calendar as soon as possible. Don't wait. I love real estate. I love working with agents, and I would love to speak with you. Thank you.